Hey, I bet you didn't know that you could live in downtown Austin for as low as $300,000. If this is something that interests you, on today's video, we're going to be talking about the best areas to live in for young professionals. What's going on, everybody? My name is Julio Monagas here in Austin, Texas. If this is your first time to the channel, bienvenidos to Casa Nueva. Y sí, hablamos español, así que los podemos ayudar. But yeah, guys, let's talk about the top 4 areas that you should consider moving to if you're a young professional. If you're looking for a different type of vibe, if you're not looking for the suburbs, you're not looking to start a family anytime soon, you want to be closer to the action, to the hustle and bustle, the nightlife, the partying, maybe access to Lady Bird Lake, things like that. These top 4 areas will give you easy access to all these amenities. Specifically in these 4 areas, we're gonna highlight what is it like? What's the vibe like? What's the nightlife like? What type of homes can you find here? What type of housing can you find here? Typically, and you'll see the theme in this whole video, typically the majority of the housing options are gonna be condos, but you will find your homes as well. But something to consider if you're not looking for that lifestyle, this isn't the video for you. But obviously, if you clicked on it, you're a young professional, you don't necessarily care too much about the space, you just want to have easy access to where everything is happening. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about the east side. When I talk about the east side, I'm talking about specifically the zip code 78702 and where it's located. So if you're looking at a map, you have downtown Austin, and then just east of that, east of I-35, you will find this pocket. So East Austin, east side, East Cesar Chavez, East 12, East 6, that type of area. And it has been changing a lot, especially in the last 3 to 5 years. There's a lot of new developments coming into the area. So it definitely doesn't look like it looked like, let's say, 10 years ago. But one of the things that I like about this area is that it still has that old Austin feel to it. It's still, you know, perhaps in some of the streets, it still feels a little weird, so to speak, or a little bit hipster, the way the old Austin used to feel like. However, it's changing very, very fast. But you don't have the towering condos that you do in downtown. So if you're not looking for the living that condo lifestyle, or living a little bit below that, this is definitely an option for you. The median home price in this area is around $700,000 in the last 3 months. However, I had a young professional like you looking for a home in this area, and we were able to find a condo in the $400,000 range. And the best part about this condo is that it was Airbnb ready. So if you're looking to also invest or have that opportunity, if you work remotely and you're like, hey, Julio, I'm only gonna be here for 6 months, and then the other 6 months I'm gonna be somewhere else, and I wanna be able to take advantage of the spot because of where it's located, well, they have those options as well. Now, remember that even though the law has changed, typically Austin goes through a permitting process, or the building itself, not so much the city of Austin, the building itself may have a waiting list for you to be able to Airbnb your place, but those options are there. So yeah, so even though the median home price is $700,000, you can find some options in the $400,000 range. Now, when it comes to the vibe, what is it like? So if you've been in Austin long enough, you know that the east side has been changing a lot. You still have easy access to downtown. A lot of the bars that were in downtown or Rainy have moved to this area. For example, Luster Pearl. If you've been in Austin long enough, you know that Luster Pearl was the very first bar on Rainy Street, which is crazy to think about. Almost 20 years ago, about 15, 18 years ago. So they have opened up a spot on the east side. You have Luster Pearl. One of my favorite bars on the east side is Whistler's. It has been there for quite a while too, and it has that old Austin vibe as well. Right across the street from that, you have Lazarus, which is a brewery, and then right next to Whistler's, you have Via 313, which is one of the best thick crust pizzas that I've ever had. So what is the vibe like? You have a lot of restaurants, you have a lot of bars within walking distance, and like I mentioned before, you also have easy access to downtown Austin, and you have easy access to Lady Bird Lake if you want to go kayaking, paddleboarding, or if you want to go running on the lake. So again, the east side of Austin, you can also find some homes. However, the price range for these homes, typically they're new construction homes because, investors have come into this area. They bought the land, they bought the older home that was sitting in this area, and they built a brand new home on top of it. And those typically range anywhere from $900,000 and then into the millions, again, because of the easy access to downtown Austin and where the location is. So you do find your single family homes. Keep in mind the price tag, but if that is your budget, if that is your price range, we can definitely help you with that. But again, we have helped single individuals find a condo within easy access to there. Another cool amenity to the area is that you have pickleball courts I believe that it's on East 6th or East 5th. So if that is something that you're looking for, there's definitely some tournaments for kickball and pickleball courts as well. And then you name it, other restaurants to mention, you have a South Korean barbecue place, and many, many more, a lot of bars, a lot of restaurants, good restaurants. So if that is something that you're looking for, definitely consider the east side of downtown Austin. All right, number 2, we are talking about downtown Austin. And of course, you can guess what kind of lifestyle, what kind of nightlife you're gonna have in downtown Austin. But this is definitely an option to consider. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, when it comes to housing options, you can find condos for as low as $300,000 range, which is crazy to think about for downtown Austin. However, you also have to think about the type of condo that you're gonna get for that price. Typically, the square footage is gonna be anywhere from 500 square feet, maybe to 800 square feet. And it'll typically be in an older building, so it won't necessarily be on Rainy Street. However, let's talk about Rainy for a second, where you can find some housing options. The price range in that area will be, you can find condos in the $400,000 range. I was helping a client, a young professional. He's like, hey man, I'm gonna be traveling 6 months out of the year, or every month I'm gonna go somewhere for 2 weeks because I work remote. But I don't want to spend more than $500,000. And we were able to find an option on Rainy Street because he wanted to have access to Rainy. And as you guys know, if you don't know, Rainy District, really cool spot that has changed a lot, especially in the last 10 to 15 years, but a cool spot to party and hang out, let's say get drunk, and then at 2 a.m. you can just go up and get into your condo and don't have to worry about driving or walking or anything. So definitely a good spot to check out in downtown. When it comes to things to do in these areas, if you're not familiar with that area in particular, Rainy is famous for, it started where the street itself, they converted a lot of the older homes into bars. That's not the case so much anymore because a lot of towers have come up, condo towers. But that's what it started like, right? It was really cool because you can walk to all these homes and have a drink here, have a drink there, and just have a good time. One of my favorite spots on Rainy, it is Bangers, which is a great brunch spot. If you love brunch, if you love mimosas, really cool spot. If you love live music, they have these mimosas that are about this big, and it's an entire champagne bottle in your mug, and just a little splash of orange juice. And you can guess what happens after you drink that. You have a good time day drinking, eating some good food, and if you still have some energy to keep going, you can go right next door to Eisenhower's where they have some more live music. Make sure to get the sangrias there. The sangrias are amazing. So that's kind of the lifestyle there. You obviously have easy access to Lady Bear Lake and to do some hiking or some jogging as well. But yeah, some of the homes that you can find here, obviously it's downtown, so it's going to be condos mainly. The median home price is going to be around $800,000, but like we just mentioned, you can definitely find a home or a condo for as low as $300,000 as well. And then again, you have easy access to South Congress, for example, that has changed a ton in the last 10 years. Now you have these high-end stores that we didn't have before. So if you want to do some shopping as well for clothing and things like that, you have access to that. Alba Restaurant, which is a great Mediterranean spot, really cool restaurant too on South Congress. And then you have Home Slice if you're craving pizza late at night when you're drinking, or Güeros or Perlas. So you get the point. You get access to downtown type lifestyle.
All right, so now we're gonna go outside and we're gonna go see some of these in person. First, I'm gonna show you one up north so that you get an idea of what's on the market. And then we're gonna go downtown and we're gonna show you some of the options that are on there. So come with me and my client to see what's available.
Yeah, this is really pretty. Not as good as the Sabine. Number 3, and probably my favorite area in these top 4, it is the Mueller district, the Mueller area, which is only 8 minutes from downtown Austin, so you still have access to downtown and that lifestyle, but you're not within the downtown district of Austin. And this particular area, again, like I mentioned, it was the old airport here in Austin, and it got completely revamped, and they decided to make it into a community, into a neighborhood. I think in total it'll have about 7,000 homes in this area. You have commercial space, so you have your Starbucks, you have kind of your big box retailers within easy access. You also have the option of either buying a condo or a single family home, which is one of the main things that I like about this, is that you can own a home in this space. Now, the cool thing about it, if you're not into long maintenance, like you don't want to be upkeeping the yard and things like that, they don't have big yards. So it's more of that low maintenance type yard. So that is definitely a plus. The other best part about it is that you have a lot of green spaces. So you get, it's more of a hybrid neighborhood where you get easy access to the city and it still feels like the city, but it also feels like your typical neighborhood with a lot of green spaces, a lot of activities. There's like a little lake as well. A lot of shops around you, and everything is within walking and biking distance. So really nice neighborhood. They has actually won a lot of awards throughout the years for being one of the best communities in the entire country because of that, because you have easy access either walking or biking. The median home price in Mueller is around $600,000, but you can definitely find options in the $400,000 range. But typically for a home here, let's say a 3 to 4 bedroom home, you're gonna be looking into the 900s, 8 to 900,000s if you want a little bit more space. But again, you're only 5 minutes from the Moody Center, 5 minutes from the UT Stadium, 8 minutes maybe from downtown and Lady Bird Lake. So, but you are in your own neighborhood, lots of trees. It's very green in this spot. You also have access to the east side that we mentioned before. So it's a really cool spot that you definitely can check out if you're a young professional moving to the area. All right, number 4, and probably one of the newer areas on these top 4, and it is the Domain District, or the Domain. And this, they have done a great job, also known as the second downtown of Austin, because it's all the way in North Austin, but not so far away from downtown. But they have created kind of its own little ecosystem, so to speak, where you have everything that you need and you don't have to go into downtown. And as I mentioned before, it's called the second downtown. Some of the amenities around it, you have now the brand new Q2 Stadium. If you love soccer, if you want to have access to professional sports, the Q2 Stadium is right next to the Domain. You have Top Golf, another amenity nearby. If you're into hiking and biking and the outdoors, you have the Walnut Creek area, which is only within 5 to 8 minutes from there. And you have the option of having both. Just like we mentioned in Mueller, you have the option of finding some homes, single family homes, your typical neighborhood. However, these neighborhoods in particular are a little bit older, they're more established. The age of these houses range anywhere from the 1970s, 1980s to about the 90s, maybe a little bit older. And then you can live at the Domain itself, right? You can actually either rent a condo there or buy one. And you have easy access to all the stores. You have a Whole Foods, you have all the stores, clothing stores that you have there. You have, your Macy's, Dick's Sporting Goods, and other high-end stores that have come into the area. Obviously, you have Lululemon, and many more to mention. But the cool thing about the Domain is that everything is within walking or biking distance. So they have created this urban spot in North Austin. And the access to this area, you have, it's right off a moped that takes you all the way to downtown. I-35 is probably about 5 to 8 minutes from there. You also have 183, which is another option to get into downtown or to get to the airport if you're somebody that travels a lot. But they have done a great job of making the Domain kind of the second downtown and an attraction for people living in North Austin. The median home price in this area, including the single family homes, are $459,000. So a considerable decrease from what we were talking about before. If you don't want to live in downtown or close to downtown, this is definitely a great option for you. If you're a young professional and you're still looking for the nightlife, if you still want to, go out and party and dance and things like that, the Domain has that. It is called the Rock Rose District or Avenue. It goes to show you how old I'm getting because I haven't been out there in a minute. But you have bars, you have clubs, you have restaurants on that avenue itself, and which is within the Domain itself. And so you can get your partying done there as well, and you can get some drinking in. And if you live only 5 minutes away, then you don't have to worry about driving your car because you can just hop on an Uber and not have to worry about driving while you're drunk. But the Domain itself, the vibe, it's a little bit less, it's a little bit calmer than it is in downtown because again, it's in North Austin where a lot of the suburbs are, but you still have access to nightlife, which, like I just mentioned before, you have clubs and restaurants and things like that. And then of course you have access to sporting events like the Q2 Stadium and Top Golf and things like that. But it is a little bit calmer, but you still have access to kind of the hustle and bustle. And we do get a lot of young professionals interested in this area, especially for single family homes if they're getting ready to start a family or they're not ready just yet. And they still want access to these amenities. They'll find a home in these neighborhoods like Quail Creek and these other neighborhoods around there where you can find a home for $500,000, $600,000, sometimes below that, around the $400,000 range, and you still get to live in a home but have access to the Domain. So that is number 4 on the list. Definitely a spot worth checking out because, as we mentioned before, it is named the second downtown of Austin. All right, guys, so that wraps up the top 4 areas you should consider moving to if you're a young professional. If you can think of any other area that you want me to highlight, make sure to leave a comment below, and I'll be more than happy to make a follow-up video considering these other areas. If some of these top 4 interest you, make sure to reach down below to the number and the email. We'd be more than happy to help you every single day of the week, nights and weekends, and make sure that you have an easy, smooth move to the Austin area. But until next time, adios.